The commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection is ordering new steps to protect children in U.S. custody after the death of an 8-year-old Guatemalan boy. Felipe Gomez Alonzo died just before midnight on Christmas Eve. He is the second migrant child to die this month after being detained near the border.
That's right. The first 7-year-old Jakelin Caal, also from Guatemala, was buried yesterday in her hometown. She died in a U.S. detention facility from dehydration and septic shock. Janet Shamlian is in Alamogordo, New Mexico, at the hospital where this latest boy died. Janet, good morning.
Good morning to you. This is the hospital where Felipe was treated and ultimately died late on Christmas Eve. He'd arrived in the United States about a week earlier with his father reportedly in good health before being taken into U.S. custody. So what happened here? Well, this morning we have new information on a death some are calling an outrage. Customs and Border Protection now reports that at about 9 o'clock Christmas Eve morning, detention center agents noticed 8-year-old Felipe Gomez Alonzo coughing and appeared to have glossy eyes. By 12:45, he was at the hospital, diagnosed and treated for a common cold. At 1:20, he registered a 103-degree fever, but by 2:50, he and his father were released from the ER and transferred to another checkpoint with a prescription for an antibiotic and ibuprofen. Officials say the pair received several welfare checks there. But by 7 that night, the boy's condition worsened. He appeared to be nauseous and vomited, but his father declined further medical assistance. 3 hours later, authorities say Felipe was lethargic and nauseous again, and agents sent him back to the hospital as there was no EMT on duty. On the way, he lost consciousness, could not be revived, and was pronounced dead at 11:48 p.m.
This administration has put deterrence and enforcement ahead of humane treatment of people.
Chris Rickard is counsel for the American Civil Liberties Union, which is suing the government over its immigration policies. Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke spoke yesterday about the child's death.
I'm going to call for an investigation just to get to the facts, make sure we understand what happened, and to prevent something like that from happening again.
Alonzo is the second child from Guatemala to die in Border Protection's custody this month. On Monday, family members wept as the body of 7-year-old Jakelin Caal was returned home. Rickard says the Department of Homeland Security and the president must be held accountable.
The question is, what does it take for DHS to take action? How many more children have to die before they are not put in these conditions?
The hospital cited privacy concerns for not giving out more information about Felipe's death, but they do say an autopsy is being done to learn how he died. Meanwhile, Customs and Border Protection says it isn't doing its own investigation, and as of this morning, the agency has ordered new wellness checks on every child currently in its custody, with an emphasis on those under the age of 10. Tony?